Hey everyone, it's Laura at SWICKtech, and we're going to go over how to use Microsoft Teams today and get the most out of it in your environment and at your company. So when you first deploy Teams, it's going to look kind of similar to this. This is a little bit built out here, but we'll start with settings and some basic design and layout that you may like. By default, it comes white. I'm a big fan of dark mode, as are a lot of people. So you can switch this up if you'd like to. We'll keep this under dark mode for today's purposes. And you have some application settings. So unfortunately, some of these cannot be set with group policy just yet. So I recommend, stopping in here and making sure that the application's auto-starting, that's running in the background, so that way you and your employees are getting the notifications. Similar to Outlook, how it has to be running for notifications to come through, same concept here. You can also switch your language if you'd like to and manage delegates. Under the privacy settings, you can set up priority access. So for example, I'm on Do Not Disturb since I'm presenting here today, and select few people here at SWICKtech have access. So if I wanted Nicole to access, I can add her in here. And just like that now, if she messages me, it'll come through. You can see that there's a banner up here as well. And we can click on Change Settings and it'll take you directly to that. Then we have the notifications. I recommend setting everything to at least banner. We all get enough emails every day, so out of the box it's going to be a banner and an email. I'd prefer not to get an email, so I have all of mine just set as a banner. And you can see there's different granular settings here under mentions, messages, other, and we'll get into what the difference is between a mention and just your regular message settings. You can see that there's some meeting settings, and you can also follow a person's status. So if somebody is out to lunch, you'll be able to see that. So then back in the settings here, we have your devices. So for example, if I was using a headset, I could select that headset, which is great. I definitely recommend picking up a good quality headset for this. But let's say you have a desk phone or a headset, and then you also have a speaker phone as well. If you're having conferences in your office, you may want to come in here and actually select, a different microphone or a different speaker at any given time. Then we also have the permissions. Like any app these days, it needs to have permissions to use your camera, grab your location, provide you with some notifications, etc. So I recommend keeping all of those enabled to make sure that Microsoft Teams is functioning as expected. And then you have your calls. So Microsoft Teams can also be a phone system replacement. So you can have set up your call forwarding, what you want it to do when you don't answer, what voicemail it should go to, how long it should be redirected, and if you want it to go to anyone else, say if you're not available. So the way that I like to describe Teams is it's a top-down, left-to-right application. And what that means here is you can see we have icons going from the top to bottom. Same thing with a list of teams, but then we also have from the left to the right over here. Lots of different tabs and options. So there is a lot going on the screen, but at the same time it's giving you all of the information that you need to consume in a single window here. So we'll just start from the top. We have the search bar up here. This is great for instantly searching someone's name if you have to chat them, or you can also do a slash for a list of commands. If you wanted to search for files and just see your recent files, you could type in files, and it will show you the most recent files that you've accessed. So you can see this is a pretty powerful search tool. It's not your 1995 Windows search anymore. You can also filter, so if I search for, say, a file with the word ninja, it will show me any messages that have that word in it. If by chance any person was named Ninja, that'd be pretty cool. And then it's also going to search within all of the files that I have access to inside of Teams, whether that be a OneNote document, you can see here a web file, or any other Excel documents. It's going to search both the actual name as well as the contents of that file. If you wanted to narrow this down to a file type, you certainly could do that. Narrow it down to a specific team, you could do that as well. And maybe even by a person. So you can see here that this drastically reduced the results and made it a little bit easier for me to narrow down and find the document that I was looking for. Then over here we have the back and forward buttons. I feel like this is probably one of the most underutilized buttons in Teams. Given the fact that there are so many tabs, it's nice and easy to click the button and take you right back to where you were, versus having to maybe click into a team and then into a channel and then into a tab. Then we have our activity feed here. You can see that lots of messages here have been posted. And this is going to show me everything that's going on in this exact, kind of like your Facebook feed or your LinkedIn feed. So you can see here that you can also search the activity feed as well for any certain types of filters. You can also search for just your activity, so it'll show you what you've done in here and where you've posted. Then moving our way down, we have the chat windows. You can see that I have pinned several people. I talk to these folks here every day at SWICKtech. And then it also shows me my recents. What's also really nice is if you are in a Teams meeting, it will also show you that information here in this chat. So you can come into that meeting, and if there was any conversation that happened or files that were exchanged, you'll be able to see that information here. Then we have the Teams tab icon in here. And this is going to be kind of the heart of Microsoft Teams, given its name. And this will show you all of the teams that you are a part of. It will also show you some hidden teams. Microsoft will actually hide teams if you do not access them for a set period of time, because you're obviously not that active. And as you build out your environment, you're going to become a member of or an owner of a lot of teams. And this tab or this column here, as you can see, if I were to expand all of this, gets kind of long. So why add to that? If you don't need to, it'll group those together and hide those for you. So we have our project chatter team here, and you can see that there's a lot of tabs that have been built out. When you first deploy a team, it's going to look similar to this. You're going to get a Conversations tab, you're going to get a Files tab, and you're going to get a Wiki tab. And there's not going to be much to it. Microsoft has really taken the control and put that into your hands and allowing you to build out the capabilities of each team and channel. So if I click on that plus sign, you can see that I can add a lot of different apps to this channel. Maybe you see some here that you're already using, whether it be Zoho CRM, Adobe Sign, Creative Cloud, Evernote, Lucid Charts. As you can see, Trello is a big app these days. So once you add your tabs, you can see here that we've built out quite a few, including a Power BI tab. This one's quite popular as well for sales and marketing teams and leadership teams. They can add the Power BI report directly to this team, so one doesn't have to rely on a daily, weekly, or monthly report. They can come in here and consume that data right now at their fingertips. So starting with the Conversations tab, as I mentioned, this is one of the three basic tabs that you're going to get. This is where the conversations, as the name implies, happen. So whether you're talking about there's donuts in the break room, possibly, under the general channel, or you're talking about more technical information or more focused information, whether it be HR, you can have a conversation about a specific document or even a tab. So you can see here that I added a SharePoint link tab to this team called QMS. So we can have a conversation about this. I've posted to the team and I can let staff know that, hey, this is here, please go here for this information. You can post documents directly in here, and that will automatically be uploaded to the Files tab. So you can see that you have a few different options here. If I click on this A, this will bring up a whole formatting dialog box. So you can give your post a subject, and it'll call it out a little bit more. You can mark a post as urgent. You can even post it to multiple channels and do cross-channel posting. So if something applies to maybe this Project Cheddar team, but it maybe also applies to a channel in our operations, I can post it to those multiple different channels so those individuals in those areas also see the same information. You can mark it so that everyone can reply, or maybe you want to change that if you're an owner, so only you and a moderator can reply. And what's nice about this formatting box is that when I press enter, it'll give me a new line. Whereas if I would have just started typing in the box that was sent, or that's listed here, I can just start typing and say, and press enter, and then it sends a new message. It's really important to make note of this reply. When someone posts something and you want to have a conversation, or a sub-conversation, if you will, regarding that post, if you click on reply, it keeps those replies threaded. So it keeps the information consolidated within that post, making it easy to go back and search, in a few days from now. Otherwise, what you end up with is a lot of posts, and then you end up scrolling. You can see here that it's consolidated and condensed, those replies, but you can still see the master post there. Then we have our Files tab. The Files tab in a team is a little bit unique. You get more capabilities. You can add a cloud storage platform. So maybe you're moving from Dropbox or Box or Google Drive in your environment, you can add those cloud storages to your team, and you can seamlessly move your data over from those platforms to Microsoft Teams, and you can maybe eliminate some expenses or a platform and consolidate your vendors. You can see that I can click on New and I can get some folders, so I can create some hierarchy and some structure. I can get a link to this location or the actual SharePoint location, or I can even open this file repository in SharePoint. So when you create a team, what it's doing is it's creating a SharePoint site, it's creating a document library within that SharePoint site, it's creating a mailbox. There's a lot of things that go that happen underneath the hood, and it's all, as they say, backed by SharePoint. So then you can see here that I have a home tab. And what this is it's actually a SharePoint site, but I've wrapped it up into Teams so that way my users can come directly here and get the information that they need versus having to go to the SharePoint site and open up another window and consume the information. They can get a holistic view of everything that they need to, all within Teams, since they're in Teams every day. You can even break out your SharePoint site into different tabs to again allow them to consume the information all within Microsoft Teams. One of the really nice features of Office 365 is Planner. Planner is a Kanban-style task management platform, and what it allows for is you to create buckets. So you can see that we have a to-do list, a short-term, a long-term, some quick items, and what this is great for is when you're having a meeting with a few other people, you can create a planner for that specific channel, and during your meeting you can make it a working meeting. So no longer do you need to take minute notes and send a follow-up email with outlining the next items and the agendas for next meeting. You can just create a task while you're meeting and assign it to people directly within here. You can set due dates. And add the task. So now Ryan's going to get an email saying that he's been assigned a task in Project Cheddar. Let's say I want to add some notes here for him. I can give it a description, and we all know that every task has multiple tasks within. So you can add a checklist. And you can show this on the card to help keep track of where this specific task is progressing. And you can put comments in here. What's nice about this is it's time stamped, so Ryan can come back here and add another comment, and we can keep track of, again, where this is progressing to. You can see a nice chart of where your tasks are at. So whether it be you have some that are not started, how many are late, you can filter by just your tasks or others and get an overview of where everyone stands. And again, this is going to show for all of the members inside of this general channel. Something to make note of is when you create a team, every team gets a general channel out of the box. You cannot change the name. and Microsoft will recreate a general channel for you if you attempt to change the name. So here, if we go to Join or Create a Team, you can see here that we have a cat memes team at SWICKtech, and this is a public team, so anyone can go ahead and join this. Or if you wanted to create a team from scratch, you can do so. And you can see that you can make an org-wide team, a public team, or a private team. We're going to make a private team here. And you want to give it a descriptive name. Something to know is that this name actually becomes an email. So as I mentioned, that creating a team creates a few things underneath the hood. One of those items is a mailbox. So with a mailbox comes an email address. So for easy cleanup, we'll give it that name. And I definitely recommend giving something a description. Anytime you see a description box, fill that in, because what happens is in a year or two from now, you look back and you're like, what was the main purpose of this? Well, then you can look back and know. And just like that, the team's going to get created. You can see that it added it here on the side, and we have our general channel with the conversations, files, and wiki. If you want to manage a team, you click on the three dots and click on Manage Team, and you'll be able to see who the owners are and who the guests are. If you wanted to add someone to the team, and select their membership. One can either be an owner or a member of a team. So we're going to make Ryan a member of this team. If you have any pending requests, you can come in here and add those requests. Then we have our channels. So as you see, we have multiple channels listed here. And what channels are a way to drive a conversation and focus a conversation and consolidate files. A great example is, let's say you have your entire company team where everyone's a part of, and you have your general channel to say, hey, there's donuts in the break room. But then underneath there, you maybe have your HR department or HR documents, or you have your individual departments that members are a part of. You can create different channels and you can set what type of privacy that channel wants. So because it's HR, they have some pretty sensitive documentation that they're keeping. So we're going to make this private. So only those people who are permitted to do so can view the conversations and can view the files within the HR channel. So you can see add members to this channel. We're going to skip this part because as an owner, I'm already a part of all of the different channels, private or not. However, I don't want Ryan, who I added as a member of this team, to be able to view this information. You can see that it's denoted here with a lock to show that it's a private channel. It also shows in the upper right-hand corner that it's a private channel. And again, the channel receives its own files library and subdirectory of this private team that we've created here. So moving down, we have the calendar view. What this is great for is viewing your day quickly and easily. We all know that Outlook can get a little bit bogged down when you have multiple calendars open. This gives me a nice overview of my day without having to leave Teams. You can select work week, or you can also view an individual day. If you want to start a new meeting, you can click New Meeting and fill in the appropriate information. You can pick a location. Fill in the body. You can also use the scheduling assistant. So if I wanted to invite Nicole to a Teams meeting, it will show me when we are free and when we are not. So if I wanted to do it you can see here that I'm not free and that we have these different time slots. If I were to select 8 a.m. here, you can see that it shows her as busy. And this calendar is the exact calendar of your Outlook calendar, so it's pulling from your mailbox. So if you add something and create a Teams meeting here, it's going to show up on your Outlook calendar and sync with all of your devices. Moving down, we have calls. And as I mentioned, Microsoft Teams can be a replacement for one's typical phone system. So you can see here that I have multiple people on speed dial, both internal and external contacts. I can dial out. It tells me what my phone number is here. I can see my contacts, my history, and even access my voicemail directly through here. In the file section here, what you're going to see is everything that you have access to that you've recently accessed. So it'll tell you the location, and you can see that it shows client engagement general, benefits, subfolders of your own OneDrive. A nice way to recall where maybe you saved a file last week. If I click on the Microsoft Teams view, this is going to pull all of the files that I have access to across all of the various teams that I'm a part of. It's also going to show me the activity for that. So I can see that Eric Clark was working on a PowerPoint here, or that Ryan was working on a timeline. And if I wanted to, I could go ahead and view those documents because I'm a part of those teams. Then we have the downloads view. These are files that coworkers have sent me that I've downloaded locally to modify or view or store directly in my OneDrive for various reasons. And then cloud storage, we're going to have my OneDrive. So this is my personal OneDrive here at SWICKtech, and it's going to show me all the subfolders that I have, all the documents, all within this view. You can see that I can click on Open in OneDrive, and that's going to open that up in another window directly within OneDrive. Your icons here on the left may look slightly different depending on what your administrator has configured. So here at SWICKtech, we use shifts. We're field staff, we're very mobile, and shifts allows us to have our schedules readily available on our mobile devices and directly here within Teams. So we've set shifts as a priority icon or app that we can always view. Same with Planner as well. We heavily use Planner within our meetings and to keep track of all of the tasks that we have to do for those meetings, particularly internal meetings versus client-facing items that we have here. Then if we click on the ellipsis here, it's going to load other apps that you may have access to. So out of the box, you're probably going to see Shifts and Planner located in here rather than having it here on your left-hand side. If you're interested in getting more apps, you can go ahead and click on Apps. And this is going to show you everything that can be added to Microsoft Teams. Think of the iPhone when the iPhone first came out, or when the Android Google Play Store first came out, and there was an app battle of who had the most apps. Developers right now are flocking to Microsoft Teams to develop a connection for their particular app to Microsoft Teams, so that way, again, you don't have to leave and go to another window to manage your data. And if you have any questions on Microsoft Teams, I strongly recommend the help icon down here. If we click on this, we can see the topics, training, what's new. You can suggest a feature. Microsoft's really listening to their end users, which is great. So if you see something in here or you don't see something in here that you want to see, go ahead and click on Suggest a Feature and get it added to their list. If we click on Training, this will load some additional videos provided directly from Microsoft. And you can see that they're pretty quick videos, under 3 minutes I think they shoot for. Whether you just need to update tasks, get some mentions, or get attention with mentions, uploading and sharing files. There's a lot of good stuff and good content in here. Since Microsoft Teams is always updating and it's a self-updating application, it's completely possible that you have a newer version than your coworker and something has changed. What they can do is they can close Teams, completely close Teams, and reopen it, and it will auto-update. And you will see a prompt that says, "Congratulations, you are now using the latest version of Teams." You can click on the help and go to what's new, and you'll be able to see what changes have been made. So thanks for tuning in, and hopefully you were able to get a better understanding of Microsoft Teams and how you can use it. If you have any questions, by all means, please contact us and we'd be happy to help.